how are we doing, people? Welcome to the court of the Edijester. I hope you're all well. News from the Americas. Oh, say, can you see? And the usual stuff. Become a warrior teacher starting in May. Buy me a coffee. Blah, blah, blah. All the usuals. Right, so this is really interesting. Really interesting in what the outcome is here, because as we're aware, the incursion by cross-dressing LARPing men into women's sports is now a very serious issue indeed, with some still holding out on allowing this to happen just because a man puts on a dress and tucks his gusset area, right? It's not on. It isn't on at all. But we do have some news from CBS Sports, which is rather good. Now, which is, in America, one of the main exponents of this is a fantastic woman called Riley Gaines, which if you've not had a look, have a look, right? There's lots going on with Riley. She's had a terrible time of it, but is fighting back along with many other female athletes and some of their male counterparts in an attempt to prevent this travesty from going any further. So what we have from CBS Sports by Dennis Dodd is the NAIA, Small Colleges Association, bans transgender athletes from women's sport competitions. Now, this is slightly not true, because obviously they haven't banned the women, right, who pretend that they're something they're not. Only the men who pretend they're something they're not. Now, the NAIA is the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics, right? So that's it's at the base root of when we hone and find the best athletes. It's the beginning of the meritocratic process to a certain degree. This idea of a collegiate association, intercollegiate in athletics in particular. So athletes in the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics, the NAIA, will only be allowed to compete in women's sports if they were assigned the female gender at birth. See, they still can't help themselves. Dennis, this is great news, mate, but start talking right with reality, please. What that should say is, will only be allowed to compete in women's sports if they're female. That's all you need to say. Okay? The National Small College Organisation announced on Monday the NIA, I'm going to get it right in a minute. The NAIA's Council of Presidents approved the policy in a vote that went 20-0. 20-0. It's almost like these people have been waiting, right, let's finally have the vote, right? Who's in? And who says they're out? Oh, carried unanimously. I am unanimously in that. Carried unanimously, they're out, right? After, and this is the thing, you see, bureaucrats need data, generally about who's going to keep them in power. So after a December survey indicated widespread support for the move, this was the result, 20-0. Quite extraordinary. The NAIA is a national athletic governing body for 249 mostly small colleges across the country that are not part of the NCAA's 3 divisions of competition. The membership is 80% private schools. This decision does not apply to NCAA. Now, the NCAA is obviously a bigger group of colleges, so this is a very specific victory, but certainly an indicator of where the wind is blowing. We're on our way with this, you see. We're on our way. We know there are a lot of different opinions out there. NAIA President Jim Carr told CBS Sports, "That's right, Jim. There are many opinions out there, but there are also lots of facts. Like there are only 2 sexes, men and women. That's it." Okay? For us, we believed our first responsibility was to create fairness and competition in the NAIA. I'm glad you've done it, but that's not your first responsibility. Your first responsibility is to reality. 2 sexes, male and female. We also think it aligns with the reasons Title IX was created. You're allowed to have separate but equal opportunities for women to compete. The NAIA is believed to be the first national college governing body to mandate that athletes compete according to, and they've got the same wording again, assigned sex at birth. No, according to sex. That's all you need to say, okay? We're going to spend the next 10 years trying to get the idea of illegal sex out of legislation across the Western world. And also in time for it not to affect the rest of the globe, because it's already started in India, right? There's no such thing as sex assigned. Stop it. Stop using the mealy-mouthed language of the cult. According to Pew Research Centre, Pew. That's a funny word, isn't it? Pew. Why does that ring a bell? Oh, Pew, Barney McGrew, Cuthbert Dibble Grub. Nobody under 40 will get that. Right, according to Pew Research Centre, 1.6% of US adults are transgender or non-binary. Rubbish. Absolute unmitigated rubbish. Right? It's just men LARPing and women LARPing. That's all it is. Non-binary. The NAIA has no knowledge of transgender athletes competing in its postseasons to this point, Carr said. According to the policy, which is included in full below, if you go and have a look at the article, they've got the policy there as well for you. All in the doobries, as usual, right? In addition to ruling out athletes that were assigned male at birth, athletes who are male, the policy blocks those who are female who have begun masculinizing hormone therapy to transition. It means men, it's got women in it. So in other words, if they've dicked with their body using drugs like estrogen and all the stuff that comes with it, or testosterone, then they don't get to play. Good. Nobody else dicking with drugs would get to play. Oh, are you playing? Are you doing the athletics? Oh yeah, I'm feeling bouncy. Why are you feeling bouncy? I'm hyped up on amphetamine. Nobody else will get to do it. Why should they? They don't. It is important to know, so they said, this is genius, that the male sports are open to anyone. So go and compete with the men. If you want to compete with the men, go and compete with the men. If you're a LARPing woman, you won't do it. You know you won't do it. And the LARPing men that will have to compete with the men because they can't compete with the women will be furious and talking about being, but I'm at risk with other men. Yeah, you're at risk with other men because you're practicing your perversion in public. Fetishy blokes, aren't you, eh? Transgender athletes. Buzz off. The moves come at a time when transgender rights are a hot topic nationally. In 2022, Penn's Leah Thomas, remember that LARPer? Leah Thomas? Became the only openly transgender athlete to win an NCAA Division I championship. Well, that should say in 2022, Leah Thomas, a man, cheated his way to a win. In 2022, the NCAA announced it would allow the national governing bodies in each sport to determine transgender policies. This is interesting, isn't it? We see this again and again. Is the fragmentation, because nobody wants to make a decision. It's fragmentation. Right, so we're the national body. How many bodies are under you? 48. Right, okay, so make a decision. No, I don't think we will. We'll give it to them. They can do it. Right, until eventually they're asking the bloke cleaning the toilet or the woman doing the canteen. What do you think? I'll ban them. They'll keep passing it down. It's like a group of people in a lift and every one of them's denying they farted. They keep passing it down. Cut it out, you bunch of nonsense merchants. Look, go and have a read. All right, okay, it's worth reading. And these types of significant events really do indicate, I think, where the wind is blowing. Go and have a look. Become a warrior teacher, buy me a coffee. You know, all the stuff. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.